Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys about wearing your loose skin like a badge of honor. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciate it, and drop me a comment also. Thank you so much. So again, over to this topic. For the unaware, I lost around 140, 150 pounds many years ago. Again, over 25 years ago. I was approximately 320, got down to 170 distance running. I basically took up running to lose the weight and just ate better. Than I got into lifting later, and kind of the rest is history. So I have loose skin still, and I also got overweight. I got really sick, spent almost a year in bed sick, got depressed, gained a bunch of weight again, and then lost 100 pounds. So again, this was in my early 30s, and now at 48 years old, I still have some loose skin and stuff, and it's something that's always fascinating to me because I catch a lot of flack for it online. I personally get a lot of insults. I get a lot of insults and hate over it. People who are like, it's disgusting, you look like you're melting. And, what's fascinating to me too, when we talk about this, like badges of honor, is when personal trainers do it. Like I'll see someone who comes in and does it and then they're a trainer. And it's like, man, you got to look at that and go, so you actually try to help people with weight loss, but then you're disgusted at the after effects. Like you'll come and actually make fun of people who've lost over 100 pounds because they have loose skin, or mock it or hate on it. And it's like, man, I wonder if your clients could see that. If they understood, like your weight loss clients, that you literally are going to make fun of them later behind their back. I would look at that as someone who does that, and I would honestly say if they're a trainer, that they should probably not be a trainer, right? They should not be a trainer, and that's just how I feel. Because again, if you're gonna mock someone's fat loss journey or make fun of it or say it's disgusting, and yet this is what you do for a living, I mean, you're just kind of a terrible human being, to be honest. Like you're just a bad person. Let's just call it like it is. So that being said, though, what I would say to a lot of the people out there, this is the problem that they face and deal with, is that embarrassment. You have people who've lost weight. You have women who've had children, right? People lose weight like this is normal. We have an enormous obesity epidemic. Our obesity epidemic is absolutely out of control. And then more people want to lose weight. And then they're afraid of that shame and the stigma of having the loose skin. And what I would say to those people, you can't let garbage human beings who want to mock your weight loss efforts later hold those views, okay? You can't allow them to affect you. Because the loose skin, it should be seen as a badge of honor. Your stretch marks, the loose skin, all these things that happen, you've got to look at those and realize this is a sign that I have been through something, right? That you've done something that most people fail at, right? Most people who are severely morbidly obese, they fail at losing the weight, okay? And so if you have lots of loose skin, like significant amounts of loose skin from your weight loss journey, that means you have been successful at something that 90 to 99% of people completely fail at. You have done something really difficult, okay? And what's fascinating is how many people will be hateful towards that, even be like, well, if they had never gotten fat to begin with. Well, do you think everyone chose to get fat? Right? In my case, mine was a result of childhood trauma. Let's just call it like it is. I was seriously abused by an uncle and aunt of mine who lived next door to a small child. Okay, from the age of 4 to about the age of 7, so for 3 years. And to get me to calm down afterwards, they would give me unlimited amounts of ice cream. And would tell me, and they had a whole giant deep freeze with like all these different flavors. And they're like, you can just eat as much ice cream as you want until you feel better and stop crying, and pretty much eat ice cream until the pain goes away. Now, I was taught this at 4 and 5 years old. So that's the problem of people see that and they don't think about, well, how do people get that overweight? Do you think people get to 300 plus pounds I'm not talking about a little bit overweight with just some bad habits. You think people get there without some serious trauma? Do people not understand this? You don't get that overweight unless there's some trauma. And that sort of trauma is real common. You guys think about that? Do you know how many alcoholics and morbidly obese people are the results of child molestation? And that's how they cope. And in my case, directly taught, hey, you just eat the junk, just eat the ice cream until the pain goes away. You know? And so I would look back at the people who had that and be like, man, you need to stop and really think this stuff through. Now, I chose to do something about it, right? As a young man, I mean, I'm 48. This was over 25 years ago. This is quite some time back. Back in my really early 20s, I stood up and said, hey, I got to fix this. This is a problem. Like, this is out of control. How did I gain so much weight? Right? I put on, probably 70 pounds of it in less than a year. I don't even know how quickly. I mean, because again, it just started sneaking up. I was already a bit heavy then. Like, I was skinny as a kid, but then, once I finished high school, I started getting fat, right? Started getting fat. And it just spiraled out of control. But it was, again, the junk eating, the binge eating. Hey. So we've been through some stuff. So usually, and that's what people need to understand, usually people who've gotten that fat, it's because we've dealt with some serious stuff in our life. Okay? So to be able to step up and lose that weight after whatever trauma, whatever you dealt with, it's usually major stuff, This is where we see people get really that overweight. Some bad stuff has happened to them. They've had to cope with it somehow, and the food is a coping mechanism. Okay? Food's a coping mechanism. So you got to deal with that trauma, and you have to overcome a lot. Okay? It's a big deal because it's not just, people don't get 100 pounds overweight. Okay? They don't get that overweight just because of a few bad habits. This is usually some very serious trauma has caused to this. And then in our current horrible food climate and food culture, unresolved trauma, when we're taught that food is a way to soothe, that reward, to soothe, all these things. So when you have gotten that overweight, you've been through some stuff already. And then if you lose the weight, you have overcome, and you've done something that is very difficult that most people fail at. That loose skin is a badge of honor. Those are your battle scars. Okay, those are your battle scars. Because again, we've gone through some stuff in both directions. Because I promise you, there's not a single human being anywhere out there who's 100 pounds overweight who got there just because of some bad habits. It does not happen. You have been through something. You have experienced something pretty traumatic in order to be broken enough for that to happen. So once you've started to overcome it, we've been through some things, and people have to learn to be proud of that. And you have to be able to look at it and say, you know what, guys, there it is, right? I got some loose skin. I got some stretch marks. It's the same thing then for women who had children, and sometimes so they've been through something. Why should they be embarrassed? They've given life. And usually sometimes women who've had multiple children or twins, or their body has been through something. Why are we going to shame people for this? And why should you be ashamed? These are a sign of having done difficult things. This is a sign of overcoming and coming through the other side of it. Don't ever let anybody shame you for your loose skin or your stretch marks. And don't ever allow yourself to shame yourself for it either. Be proud of it. Be proud of the things that you have overcome. Be proud of the things that you have gone through and come out on the other side of it, because it means something. And don't ever be ashamed or embarrassed by that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.